welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being my friend. It really means a lot to me. I love having friends because, you know, girl like me never really had any. Well, since you're here, I thought we'd watch some videos on some petrified giants. Now, I don't know much about the giants other than they were here before we were here. You know, they were here before us. And I know that the giants are like, you know, their faces are in the mountains, they're in our lands, right? So I haven't watched these videos yet. I wanted to wait to watch them with my friends. So let's watch these videos and see what we learned together.
So you don't believe in giants yet? What about giant trees? Do you believe in giant trees the size of the Statue of Liberty? No? Well, if you stick around, by the end of this video, you might just believe in both. Let's first look at the Devil's Tower in Wyoming in the United States, and let's look what the mainstream narrative tells us. They tell us that this began as liquid hot magma that came out of the earth and hardened. But when you look at things and you don't just believe what you're told, and you have an open mind, you see what I see. And that is that this 900-foot supposed rock formation looks an awful lot like a 2-foot petrified tree stump. Is that just a coincidence to you? Could they really look that similar if these weren't petrified trees? But you might be asking yourself, why would they hide this information from us? Well, I believe it's because it's talked about in the Bible and talked about how trees were so tall they reached the sky and could be seen to the ends of the earth. The Bible also references how angelic watchers came down and chopped down trees and destroyed everything except left the stumps. Could it be we're seeing what's talked about in the historic book of the Bible? The Bible also references giants and talks about how there were giants on the earth in those days. Could it be that the same people that created lies like evolution also are trying to hide the fact that giants and giant trees once were on this realm we live in? To hide the fact that there's legitimacy to the Bible? Could it be that there are giants so big that you mistake them for mountains? You see all these pictures of mountaintops might not look much to the eye like this, but when you flip it like this, the picture becomes a little bit more clear, and you can start to see that maybe there were beings here this size of mountains and trees here the size of giant skyscrapers. The evidence is all around us. All you have to do is look. But you need to look with an unprogrammed mind. And then you need to ask yourself, what could have caused all this petrification? What could have happened to all these giant trees and these giant humanoids? And you look into it and you see that water plays a giant role in petrification. I don't recall anything about water though in the history, except for the Great Flood that is literally mentioned in every single culture's history. Everyone, and especially mentioned in the Bible. So you can continue to buy into what the mainstream says and that it's just a coincidence that there are rock formations that look like human faces, and it's just a coincidence that there are giant stone formations that look like petrified trees. And you can continue to believe that you're in a spinning globe and that evolution is real and that you're just an accident. Or you can do research and you can find out truth and you can figure out there is a creator that created this amazing place and you were created for a purpose. So you don't believe in giants yet? What?
Exactly. I believe that we were created for a purpose, you know? And honestly, I find that so strange because it's like we all know that we're approaching end times now, and it's like they've told us so many lies. And the fact that like a lot of us sat here and believed the lies and now the truth is unfolding before our eyes, I feel like it's honestly amazing. And then it feels like the fact that, because I feel deep inside that we are our ancestors, right? Coming back and now seeing it all unfold, it's like, wow, you know? Amazing, honestly amazing.
Tell me you've never heard of petrified giants. Now look at this. Could this have been the insides of a digestive tract of a giant? As you can see in the diagram, you can see the folds and how similar they look. Now could this have been the entrance of the large intestine? So as you can see in the diagram, the large intestine above, if you look on the left, on the cave wall, you can see the ridges. That's very similar to the large intestine. Look at this, guys. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference if I didn't tell you. One is pork ribs, one is a salt mine. I mean, come on, look at this. There's more. You can keep on going. Look at this. What does this look like to you guys? Check it out. Here's some rock salt, and here's some meat. Now, what does this look like to you guys? Is this meat or is this rocks? They're rocks. These rocks have manganese silicate in it. And if you look online, manganese silicate is found in the body as a nutrient and stored in various organs and tissues like the liver, pancreas, and kidneys and bones. Guys, the truth is everywhere. You just have to look. Here you can see a rock, and the composition, this has iron. And when they turn it over, you can see the fleshy look. There are more examples. Now these rocks, you can see the way it looks like tissue. And you can see in the diagrams above how similar they look. Here you see the cardiovascular system and the similarities. You can see where he's pointing, how it looks like the veins. Here's another example of how it looks like the spongy bone tissue from your cranium. The Bible, it even talks about these giants. It says there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that when the sons of God came into the daughters of men. Genesis 6:4. This is more from the Bible. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sights as grasshoppers. They're saying that we look like grasshoppers to the giants. Truth is everywhere, guys. You just have to look. Check this out. I mean, you can see the feet. You can see the eyes. It's everywhere. But let me know what you guys think in the comments and follow for more videos, guys. Tell me you've never heard of...
Wow, he shows really great examples. I've never even thought to even put them side by side to see them like that. But now that I see that, it's like I'm going to be looking for these things everywhere. These similarities, I mean.
Let me tell you a true story, piece of boom. Watch this video to the end. Petrified giants. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Let's go. No, 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 no! I'm telling you guys, get on there now. They're alive. I told you, they exist. You think it's a game, but I'm telling you, get ready. Shh. What is that? Who is that, man? What was that? Huh? What if it was taking a nap? What if it was relaxing, recharging in the sun? Stop playing with me, son. This video is for entertainment purposes only, and there's no way that can exist. There's no way that's possible. That was special effects. Somebody did that. Shut up! You know what time is it, guys? I told you about the in the mountains. Get ready. You think it's a game? Let me show you something else. Come on. In various mythologies and folklore, giants are often depicted as being turned into stone, often as a punishment or as a result of divine intervention or exposure to magical forces. What the... Shut up! Who said that? Huh? Now, guys, I Googled this. Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game, all right, guys. You think what's going on? Yeah, they exist. What if that giant was taking a nap? Turned into stone, magical forces. What are you talking about? Stop playing with me, son. It's not a game, all right, guys. And I think you know what they're talking about. But I'm not gonna say it. Because and to say, I just showed you. He was taking a nap. He was recharging. Shh, don't you say it. Stop playing with me, son. It's getting real here, guys. You better be careful. But I tell you one thing. If I'm ever out there and I see a giant turned into stone, sitting somewhere relaxed and catching a tan, I'm just gonna make sure I don't go there at night. Let me tell you a true story, piece of boom.
Humans did exist. They are petrified. Research Tartarian.
Look, I'm not here to entertain the present. You may tell me. The road is real. And the president would, just love, really love that. Just the person maybe better than the world is never truly safe. after all of that are gone.
I hope we could do a little ceremonial farewell, especially since your military has worked so closely with them. Until you.
It's not the planet you realize.
I'm a Petrified. Chief of Staff.
Humans did exist.
Some look
They
like bigger than others.
Did you know that every myth is based on some truth? And did you know that Africa could be the real Skull Island? All my days. So I stumbled across these old maps, and for some reason, they've shown Africa as a giant skull. The landmass fits perfectly. There's not just one map, there's a few, and they all show Africa in the same way. They always tell you the truth. You've just got to be able to understand their language. In this movie, they was hinting that giants exist. It's one thing to understand that giants exist, but what about titans? I've always wondered why they always seem to show Africa as the main landmass. They're rubbing it in our faces. The truth is always hidden in plain sight. Did you know that...
That's crazy. Now I want to go watch Skull Island.
This up here is the inside of the...
I have to go watch the Skull Island because he just showed a picture. So like, is King Kong in it, or like, what's going on at Skull Island? Now I want to watch Skull Island so we can talk about this, because what's going on at Skull Island?
natural Himalayan pink salt lick cave in Pakistan. So you may be wondering, you hear the conspiracy music, what possibly could I be talking about here? Well, the problem is that this is salt, yes, but they're actually kind of lying to you. It's salt by proxy. And here's another one from Pakistan also. So there's something that is salty that isn't necessarily salt. They're lying to you, telling you this is purely salt. It's not. Let me show you what this really is. That, my friends, are uncooked pork ribs. So you heard the fact that mountains are really, petrified and fossilized, I guess, giants or whatnot. Well, typically, what are inside mountains? Caves, caverns. So when you find these salt licks in caverns, this is the petrified meat. And wouldn't it make sense that the outside of the mountain don't look like meat, right? Because it's exposed to all the elements, but the inside, it's like the innards of the giant, right? I know some of you are like, "Whoa, you done lost your mind, soft-spoken shaman." I'm not the only one talking about this, I don't think. Or maybe if I am, wow, I feel like a super genius, but I don't think I am. Look at that. So take a look online, just go on your favorite search engine and type in natural Himalayan pink salt cave or natural Himalayan salt cave. You'll see the marbling. It looks like marbling. It's pink because it's meat. It's meat. And if these giants were actually humanoid, well, guess what? They say that humans' meat they call it long pork or long pig because it's most like or akin to pork. It's why it's pinkish looking. So you think about it, if these mountains and these caverns are like fossilized giants or whatever, then of course the salt cave would be pinkish because that's what the meat is. It's pink meat. I don't know. You let me get down in the comments and you let me know what you think. And if you want to rub my nose in some doo-doo, go for it. But if you really think about it and you go, "Hey man, I think you might have something here," get down in the comments and let me know. Make sure you follow. I have a lot to share, but I'm dripping it right now, guys. I'm dripping it a little bit at a time.
Disappear into a magical doorway within the rock face here at the Giant's Causeway. Right, I believe we have some footage that has been taken on a mobile phone. Let's have a look at it. Well, that footage is absolutely incredible, isn't it? Well, earlier today, tourists, historians, geologists, architects, and giant experts all congregated here and have been examining the rock face to see if there is indeed any sign of Finn McCool, that legendary and magical giant, in that spot where he disappeared into the rock face. But absolutely no trace, it has to be said, of any doorway or hinges or anything like that. But there was the unmistakable sound of snoring coming from within the mountain. That's right, snoring from within the mountain. So it would seem possibly plausible that the legendary and mythical giant Finn McCool is indeed sleeping within the mountain here.
Well, what?
If I say so myself, I'd say that these are definitely humans. And if those sculptures are humans, and other sculptures we see around, if they're humans, what about the terracotta army? This is where it's going to get really, really crazy. The terracotta army, we had this whole army made to supposedly guide someone or protect somebody in the afterlife of 8,000 maybe soldiers, all made out of stone sculptures, perfect looking. I've never believed that narrative. I have always thought they were feeding me some kind of bullcrap. I don't eat bullcrap. You might, but I don't. And I've always wondered why they put it in my bowl. But why the terracotta army? Well, because we know the Great Wall of... What was that? No, the Great Wall of Tartaria was defending against that region, you know, the Dragon Country there. They were defending against them. Why were they defending against those people right there? The same place where all those people were allegedly looking like turned to stone. Look, that's very coincidental. You cannot put me in a yellow shower and tell me that it's water. Literally, we have this giant wall. Who knows how it was made? Like everything else, you get the point, right? Who knows how it was really made? But it was made for something important, for an important defense. Maybe something supernatural was happening, because the one they were defending against, they were all turned to stone. I mean, really, it just has to baffle your mind. All these myths, all these legends, giants and petrification, Medusa turning to stone. We know about all these pagan gods and goddesses. They're fallen angels, right? So Medusa turning to stone, is it possible that angels and fallen angels have the power to turn beings into stone? So the question is, was there an angelic war around that great wall where fallen angels and angels were literally battling each other as well as the citizens? And whether that be before our known timeline or after the known timeline, in the separation timeline where we are right now, where something big is getting ready to take place. So possibly the angelic turning people to stone. Possibly, 1,000%, the angelic that are completely involved 1,000% with all this DNA, all this lineage and these physical manifestations and traits of Nephilim and royalty. Is this right here why we see the face of giants all the time in mountains and rocks, just all over the earth, as if they were just petrified in place? Is it possible the majority of the giants were wiped out after the flood by turning them to stone by the good angels that still reign with God? And maybe, just maybe, now we have entered a season of time where Satan reigns, and his demons reign, and his giants reign, and his angels reign. And that's why we're seeing all these giants around the earth. That absolutely makes sense to me. But we're about to go a lot deeper.
Wow. Maybe I should follow this guy, actually, because he's funny and I like to go deeper, you know? So what do you guys think? I definitely 1,000,000,000% believe that giants were real. Definitely 1,000,000%. You know, I feel like it's kind of weird that the government wants to cover them up. And it's even weirder that the fact that like there was big trees here and the government telling us like that's lava and like different stuff for volcanoes and whatnot. I feel like it's all weird because it's like, if there were big tall trees, so what? Like, what are we gonna do? Like, but it's like, you know, they have their own agenda, and it's very strange of them, you know, especially now that everything is unfolding and we're literally seeing that they've been lying to us this whole time, and we can't trust them. So it's like, I don't know what their end game was. It's kind of weird. Like, what did they think was gonna happen? But yeah, seems like they think we're a bunch of idiots. That's what I'm getting from this, that they think that we're slow and we'd never catch on, and you know, they could just tell us anything and we just run with it, like, you know, we have in the past. But we are evolving now. We've, you know, come to a time now that we've waken up, right? So they can no longer lie to us and tell us random stuff, because we know now that that's not the truth, and it's all unfolding right before our eyes. So, you know, I think it's just really important now that we teach our kids the truth, right? And we don't continue the lies. Well, anyways, thank you so much for being on my channel. Thank you so much for being my friend, and have yourself a great day. Bye.
In the forest deep and green, fairies dance like shadows seen.